Okay, welcome everybody. Memorial Weekend is here upon us, and a lot of states are opening, so this is fantastic news. I don't know about you guys, but in Michigan, the sun is out and it's about 68, which, 3 weeks ago was snowing a little bit, so we're okay that way. So this is a think tank. It's May 22nd, 2020. And just a couple of quick announcements. We have a creative scholarship blog that's been up for a while. So anything that you presented or would like to present, any research you've done, any creative kind of works, we can conduct a think tank just like this, and we can put that up on the scholarship blog. Feel free to take stuff out of there and put it in your courses. Our students love to see faculty members doing fantastic things and engage in creative scholarship. Sometimes when people are working online and students are online, they don't think we're here. Getting more videos of ourselves doing things and sharing each other's videos and those in works, raises that kind of culture. So without further ado, I am going to lead this over to Professor Aimee McKinney, who is a Chief Marketing Officer for Dunlap, Bennett, and Ludwig. So here you go.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aimee McKinney, and as just noted, I'm the CMO for Dunlap, Bennett, and Ludwig, which is an international law firm. We have headquarters are in Leesburg, Virginia, but we have offices all over the globe. So what I am responsible for is documenting the roadmap and resources and budget required to achieve goals around just about everything that would be involved in marketing. So anything from branding to marketing campaigns, PR, website, business development. That has changed since the pandemic, and that's really what this talk is about. It's about how to pivot marketing and marketing operations during kind of a pandemic situation or any crisis for that matter. Prior to joining the legal world of marketing, I've had 22 years of experience working for what is interestingly both very large and complex firms and then very small firms. I spent a decade working at Merck Pharmaceutical Company, launched Maxalt, Singulair, Vioxx, and Propecia. And then along with that, I've had 17 plus years of teaching as an adjunct professor. When we lived in Pennsylvania, I was an adjunct for St. Joe's, Gwynedd Mercy, Penn State, and then once moving south to the University of Potomac and Ashford. So really what I wanted to start by talking about is that, start by stating the obvious. We are in unprecedented times. Everything about the way life is right now is different, and we can say with 100% certainty that no one registered for the class Global Pandemic 101, but we are all going to graduate from it. We are looking at, as marketers, how to continue to market during this really crazy time, and why the messaging is so critical and important, the way it's delivered and what we say to a business success. Today, we're going to cover messaging and crafting a message in crisis management, understanding your target message and making sure that you're not tone deaf, positioning your company as a supportive partner, and then lastly, understanding how to connect with your clients. Now more than ever, we're looking at, digital ways to connect. One major point is that all industries have been impacted by this. So hang on one second, I just got a message. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. One major point that I wanted to make is that I just saw in an article that I read early this morning, 81% of law firms, so the industry that I currently am in, have seen their revenue drop during this pandemic. And 27% of those have reported more than a 50% drop. So it's impacting everyone. So let's talk a little bit about your target audience and how audiences are perceiving the messages around the pandemic. So those companies that got their message out there early and stayed on message will be the most successful. In this situation, silence is not golden. It is especially not golden in a crisis. What happens is that people and consumers take your silence for either being afraid or for being uncomfortable or for not knowing what to do. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today is how to kind of craft that message so you're credible and that your audience believes you. Your goal in any crisis, if you're in marketing or communications, is creating trust. The single biggest reputation killer in a crisis is the perception that you don't care. So the speed of communication is quite important. First impressions make a lasting impression. Research shows that the first message received on a subject sets the stage for comparison against all future messages. So those companies that went out there, and ours included, the first message that we sent out both to our external clients as well as our internal, because we need to remember that all companies have an internal stakeholders, an internal audience, as well as an external. A great example of this is Lululemon, the sports clothing company. Immediately they sent a message out to their employees and said, we're going to take care of you during this pandemic, and everybody will get paid through June. Nordstrom did the same type of thing. So we did, as a law firm, we reached out to all of our internal clients, our staff, and said, we're here for you. We're going to make this work. We can all work remotely. Here's how to work remotely, and keep doing what you're doing. Externally, our message has been to our clients, we're here for you. We're going to be with you, and we're going to share our knowledge with you to help support you through this crisis. Factual content on the message, so getting the facts right and repeating them consistently and ensuring that everybody is speaking the same message is critically important. And then finally, again, that it's vital to establish trust and empathy with your audience. You need to know what your audience is going through, and then make sure that your message is portraying that. Okay, hang on, trying to get to the next slide. Okay, sorry, doesn't want to. Okay, so establishing trust during a communication, there are really 4 things that you need to do. So how do you establish trust? The first thing is that research shows that being perceived as empathetic and caring provides the best opportunity to get your message accepted by the receiver. So that's important, and you need to make sure you do that when you're communicating. Now, that's not just in communicating. The topic of this research and discussion is about how do you market, how do you keep selling and doing business in the age of a pandemic. The second thing is competence and expertise. So obviously someone's education, their title, their organizational roles are quick ways to indicate expertise, but any previous experience and demonstrating abilities in the current situation, making sure that people know that you are in control and that you are there to help is critically important. Thirdly is honesty and expertise. So convey all the relevant information that you have. If your spokesperson is, can't give information because there's a legal issue or we can't reveal something, people just need to know that and know why. And then lastly, commitment and dedication. You should really state up front what you're trying to do, what you're trying to convey, and that your objectives in the crisis are to continue to do work and to help your clients in any way possible. That could be whether or not you're selling clothing or law services or another product or another service. So what kind of message do you have or should you create or craft during a crisis? So the first thing is you want to develop strong or stronger relationships with your stakeholders. The second is to create an integrated campaign. We have had to pivot to mediums that we may not have used as much in the past. The one thing that, and I'll share with you later, our videos may be a better option for people during this time because people want to know what's going on. And a lot of research is showing that video is the best medium right now in order to get your message across. So that integrated campaign needs to show your message across multiple platforms. You need to monitor the news that may be relevant to your company or firm. So for example, you need to make sure that you aren't tone deaf to a piece of legislation that may have come out that may impact employees, and yet a message that you put out there might differ from that. So monitoring the news and making sure your teams have the messaging consistent are really critical. Monitoring feedback from internal and external sources. So listen to what people are saying. If you're hearing that people on your team are starting to get tired, are starting to get weary from being cooped up, if they are not feeling as though they're getting enough messaging from the higher ups, that's when you need to kind of react. Monitoring feedback from social media as well. So we do a lot on social media. It is a great messaging platform that many businesses and services are using to get the message across. We put out daily social media messaging on all platforms to try to reach as many people as we can. Okay, so I think a critical piece is that disruption has affected the world in general, and every business is reassessing its business objectives. I think it's really important to remember as marketers that clients are the backbone of our strategy, and if we can provide superior services now that allow our clients to meet their objectives, that needs to remain our immediate priority. I read something this morning that said, kind of the profits will follow if we take care of our employees and we take care of our clients. And I think that's a really important message. Times are very difficult for a lot of people and a lot of businesses right now. So if we keep our eye on taking care of the personal and professional needs of our clients now, my belief as a marketer is they will come back in droves once the pandemic is over. So what may change is how we act upon the strategy to how we serve our clients as things evolve. So that could look like, for example, at a law firm, we may need to do more pro bono work or offer more flexible ways to pay. I'm sure we've all seen the Ford ad where they're offering for a pay. You don't have to pay for 3 or 4 months on your bill. Or for dry cleaners, it might be they're converting their seamstresses to make masks, or a distillery may start making hand sanitizer. So whatever the case may be in terms of us dealing with the pandemic, I think that people are going to remember what you did for them during the crisis. And then that makes them more bought into your product or your service. From a law firm perspective, people are looking at their lawyers to show empathy. They already know that we're smart, qualified practitioners. What they're looking for is, did you understand my pain points during this crisis, and were you there to help me through it? And if you do that and do that well, I believe that you end up with a much better client for the long term. So this opportunity, or this crisis, presents an opportunity in my mind, and that opportunity is to create hope. And by creating hope, I believe it's critical for all industries. I think that we need to present options to move companies forward, and actually consumers forward as well. If you have a consumer-facing product, I believe that the opportunity is with the businesses and the brands that they are building to show that you can help people, and there is going to be life after the pandemic, and these products will be around. I think we need to show that you can be the firm or company or business that you aspire to be. So in the legal industry, it's even more important as businesses rely on law firms as their strategic partners. They want trusted advice. They want to know that the people that they have are ensuring their legal advice, that they're there with them for the long haul. So the changes that might have been perceived in a law firm or not in character with a law firm are now necessary. In the legal industry, as I mentioned in my overview at the beginning, The entire industry has taken a tank, down by 80%. It's a huge impact on the legal industry. And the firms that were hit the hardest were the large law firms in New York City and other large cities in the United States, where the way you did business was you had to go into the office. All of your files were in the office. All of your contacts were in the office. You did paper entry, old school law firms. And so what happened was, when the pandemic caused life to stop in that way, when lawyers couldn't go into the office anymore, it created large law firms to just completely shut down. And then the fallout from that were furloughs, layoffs, pay cuts, etc. The law firm that I work at, Dunlap, Bennett Ludwig, was already ahead of the curve in terms of remote work. They had options for technology, staggered shift. They were very paper light and very digitally advanced. So we were able to pivot pretty quickly. So this environment that we live in, at least for the short, long haul, I believe is going to be the way people do business. And now it's time for companies to think about how we can continue to message and market to our audiences in that remote space. So how you present the message is equally important as the message itself. And so in the legal marketing, our clients have been bombarded, and I'm sure we all have been as well, by news and emails and content about COVID-19. And so what we did in the legal market was started to think about how can we get our message out to our clients and our community without bombarding them with daily emails. So we created FAQs that answered most of the clients. Remember, businesses are looking for relevant information. How do these laws affect my business? How can I get loans to keep going? What do I do next? What happens if someone at my office has COVID-19? There's lots of things that people are looking for. And so we needed to be able to communicate that effectively without people feeling like they're bombarded. So we consolidated alerts. We created written materials, videos, and webinars to assist our clients who are all at varying stages of trying to figure out how things are going and where they're headed and how they're going to affect them and recover. So this disruption, again, was not limited to a particular industry or a piece of the economy. It is truly a global issue. So in the legal industry, again, what clients needed were a trusted advisor. They needed someone to collect all the good advice and present it in a concise manner to determine how they navigate the present issues and then how do they get back to business. So what we did, and I'll show you an example of it, was create a COVID-19 legal and business page on our website. It was a button on the homepage that every piece of information that we collated, whether or not it was something that we actually put out, a blog on the subject, or something that was in the news, or something that the government put out, we collated that all on our website so that people had a one-stop shop. So the one thing that we need to remember, though, is that we need, as marketers and messengers, to be empathetic. We need to understand the bigger picture of what's to come for them as a business, and then how do we present that information so that we're one step ahead in providing them with what they need. Clients definitely want you to be honest, they want you to be open, and they want you to be educated. Things are changing so rapidly with the government laws that it's hard to keep on top of it. We have a lot of time spent in just making sure we understand what the laws are and then how do they impact businesses. So here's an example of the COVID-19 legal and business resources page. We got, to date, 29 blogs, 8 videos. Our Family First Coronavirus Response Act video got over, this says 12,600, we're over 12,700 views. For a law firm video, that's pretty much unheard of. And what that tells us is, A, the medium worked, and B, people are hungry for this information in this type of the way to get it out. So this page has been a great resource to our clients and the community in, again, presenting information to them in a way that they can access it. Here are just a couple of examples of our videos. I'm just going to show just really quickly. Let's see if I can do it from here. I'm just going to show a couple of examples.
This is taken from an article written by myself, Phil Schwartz, and Ethi Joshi, all of Dunlap, Bennett Ludwig. On March 18th, 2020, the United States Senate passed H.R. 6201, which is called the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. We'll shorten it here to the FFCRA. In a 90-8 vote,
so that's
bipartisan vote, which President Trump made the House becomes law.
The next one is the CARES Act video. I'm not going to show that one. The third thing that I'd like to show, though, is a recent video that we did, and this gets to the messaging as well. So we did a We Are DBL video, and the purpose behind that was to show that we're all working remotely from our home offices, but we're still here to serve our clients. So I'm going to show a little bit of a clip from that. Hi, my name is Aimee McKinney, and I'm the CMO here at Dunlap, Bennett Ludwig.
Hi, David Ludwig, partner with Dunlap, Bennett Ludwig.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Afawala. I'm a litigation manager.
Everybody, my name's Chuck Hanton.
This is Jeff.
I'm Sherilyn Carly-Levon.
As we navigate the COVID crisis, we want you to know we are here for you.
Here at DBL, we are working hard to continue to provide our clients with excellent representation despite these unprecedented times.
It's been wonderful learning all this new technology so we can help solve our clients' problems much more efficiently.
All the same legal services we do from the office, I can do from right here. From this same webcam, I've argued motions before federal judges, conducted mediations, worked with my team on briefs and memoranda, so we're still in full service mode at DBL, even though we're doing it from home.
The team is working harder than ever to make sure your legal needs and obligations stay attended to during this difficult time.
Working really hard in our remote offices to bring our clients and communities timely and useful information regarding COVID-19 and the legal and business challenges surrounding it.
Even though my delivery and method of communicating has changed, the quality I provide has not.
In this time of uncertainty, that we are definitely making sure that your matter gets the quality attention it deserves, because it's important to you, and so it's important to us.
One of the things that we are doing right now for our clients who've been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic is helping them get extra time to meet their filing deadlines with the USPTO.
As the courts and quarantine orders are constantly being updated, we are also continuing to evolve to improve our processes so that we're ready to serve our clients wherever we are.
And helping people apply for Paycheck Protection Program loans, economic disaster loans, and other forms of financing.
It's really tremendous to see the way that everyone's come together to continue to keep our operations going and to be able to support our clients. And this is just a great team to be a part of.
I'm thankful that DBL already had the technology in place, so we're able to work remotely without disrupting our normal workflow.
I just want to let all our clients and colleagues know that we're hanging in there, we're supporting you, we're working as hard as we possibly can in strange times.
So as most of you know, New York City has been shut down for quite a while. And so it's forcing us all to work from home, which obviously presents its own unique challenges. Come on, come say hi.
We've been here diligently serving our clients, sometimes not so diligently.
My team and I are still working tirelessly to communicate with our clients, especially in this time of need, this time of crisis.
When it comes to handling things remotely, we don't pause. We're Dunlap, Bennett Ludwig.
Glad to be able to continue to serve you, the client, through this difficult time. We also enjoy the time we get to spend with our families and our pets.
Just know that we are here for you. We continue to be here for you, and we will continue to be here for you, because we are DBL.
We're at the winner because we're DBL. Doing better alone.
We are DBL.
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 Dunlap, Bennett, and Ludwig.
We are DBL.
We are DBL. We are DBL.
Okay, so let me get back to my slides. So the purpose of me showing you that is, and again, what it was we were trying to get across was that we are there for our clients. We did it in a way that allowed our clients to see us in our homes, in our personal space, including pets and children, to really kind of hit again at that empathy. We're all in this together, we get it, and we're here for you. Other things that we've produced are internal and external email campaigns. These are just 3 examples that sending timely updates about new pieces of legislation and laws that have passed. We also want to again, keep reminding our clients we care and we're here to help. And then these are a couple of examples of our most recent advertisements. In light of the COVID-19 crisis, our approach to messaging in ads has been to show that we're there as a trusted advisor. In addition to our client email campaigns and the COVID-19 page on our website, we launched these Facebook and LinkedIn ads that demonstrate empathy and understanding. The ones on the left, you can see that. On the one on the right upper hand, talks about the time that we were giving them more time to pay over time, which is again a serious issue, particularly with businesses. They need the help now, but they may not have the cash reserves, or they may want to hold on to that because their business is uncertain. The one on the bottom right is for our affiliate firm, Whitbeck Bennett, and the kind of campaign is all around hope is not canceled. So connecting to clients is really important. Now is the time in any business or service to reach out to our clients and focus on their immediate needs. Again, I gave the example, for instance, of the distillery, one of our clients that happens to be a distillery, and they switched gears from making their products to hand sanitizer for people. It's a great example of being able to serve in the midst of a crisis. For lawyers especially, now's the time to pick up the phone and call our clients. Clients sometimes interpret, again, silence during a challenge as either disinterest or a cause for concern. Lawyers and other service industries have an ideal opportunity in this environment to be proactive and not reactive, and take the opportunity to show that they care about their clients and learn about their needs. Great lawyers need to serve those clients who have made them great. Now's the time to give back. And then developing time-sensitive resources, I think, and I'm sure you've seen it in probably lots of emails that you've received as well. Now's the time to get that information out to your clients. So just to summarize, I think here are some guidelines for effective messaging and marketing during a crisis. The first is be open and willing to respond. Actually reach out to your clients and community. Be truthful, be empathetic and compassionate to your clients and community. Acknowledge uncertainty. It's okay to say we don't know. The laws are changing so quickly that in our market, we have to say, we'll get back to you, or that law is probably changing on Friday, we'll wait for the update. Establish that there is a process in place. Be regretful but not defensive. If you have to lay people off, if there's furloughs, if there's things that are happening, I believe that you need to make sure that you use a good tone when you use that. And anytime that you're talking to both the public and internally, making sure that your message is clear and not diluted by any additional outside influences. And then finally, acknowledge people's fears. It's a scary time. I think everybody is impacted, no matter if you have small children at home, if you've got, like me, college students at home, everybody is kind of working through these processes. And then finally, I just want to kind of talk a little bit about, last slide, about marketing remotely during a crisis. There's a lot of really important work that's being done right now for marketers in all businesses across all categories. It's hard to market during a crisis. New laws are often announced, that take place late in the day. They're very close to publication times when we have to get things out. Marketers across industries are working to kind of take that information and then put the market and the company's spin on it. So that happens we're all working from home. So long hours are extended into the evening and sometimes the weekends because things are happening late on a Friday night. So marketers are facing demands that they probably never faced in the office. It's hard, but it's very important work. And with that, I will open it up to any questions.
So if you have questions, if you can't unmute yourself, you're welcome to just type it into the chat room. Well, I have one question. We'll see if anybody else has. So one of our stakeholders is obviously students. So in that case, what can we do to kind of, I guess, reassure our students that they can get through this?
Sure,
I know
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, we're mostly professors, so I know that depending on who's online, that might be of interest to them. So if you've got any advice for that, that's great.
Sure. First of all, I think Ashford has done a great job in terms of the overall communication to students. One of the things that I found that was done quite well was, the Resource Center, which had not just kind of school and academic resources, but also mental health resources for teaching your kids at home, for doing work at home. So I think that from that perspective, the university in general has done a very good job at that. But I think in terms of talking to our students, I think reaching out to them and letting them know we're all in this together. A lot of students are dealing with repercussions of either being laid off or conversely having to go to their job still. I just had a student email me the other day that said, she's back on, public transportation trying to get to her job in New York City, and it's been very stressful coming back to her children. So I think just making sure, I tried to send, messages to my students about once a week, once every other week, or post in an announcement, basically saying, hey, don't give up, we're here, and we understand that this layer of COVID messaging on top of everything else, on top of just life in general, is quite difficult. And allowing them to kind of know that we're all in this together, I think is the best advice that I could give.
Yeah, thank you very much. I like the advertisement you guys did. It was very professional, and the rain and everything just brought up the emotions. I mean, they say in advertisement that emotion is kind of like half the maybe more than half the selling battle, right? Images and emotions and those things, and then you sort of put that personalized face on it by showing how each person's doing something. So that was really good. I thought that was would be very reassuring to clients. So
I think so. I mean, we've done several others, but right now the whole intent of all of our marketing is less about branding Dunlap, Bennett and Ludwig, and more about branding, trust us, we're here. We're all still working. And we can help you through. People are scared, businesses and students alike. They're worried about, where's the money going to come from? Is my job going to be lost? If you own a business, it's about, can I get the PPP loan? Did I get the PPP loan? How do I make it best use for my company? If you're in a restaurant, it's difficult because you're meant to start paying it back after 8 weeks, but restaurants aren't even open. Like, there's so much that companies are going through right now. We just need to be a resource to people, is what we need to be. And I think, for our students, we need to be a resource to our students right now. We need to understand that most of them are working professionals, and that their job situation may be difficult. And I think just trying to listen and hear what they say, and just make sure that they know that you're there for them, in addition to being a professor, but as a sounding board.
So as a global firm, each state kind of has their own rules. I mean, they sort of follow the federal guidelines. I've been reading all the executive orders when they come out and sort of posting them out for people. But in your firm, do you have people that manage each sort of state?
We do. I mean, from a marketing perspective, it all comes through my team. And so we have to follow the national rules as well as from a marketing perspective, the most stringent states laws that we are in, which is in New York City. And so that's how we have to apply from a marketing perspective. But it does make firms and both from a business perspective and again from our client, our students right now, every office that's opening or business that's opening is relying on their state's rules. So, for example, I sit in Virginia, and that's where our headquarters is. But I also sit in Northern Virginia. So Virginia is like a triangle of a state. So the state is open, but Northern Virginia is not. So while, you might be able to go to a restaurant in Southern Virginia or may be able to go into a store in Southern Virginia, in Northern Virginia, we're still closed. And so that becomes really difficult for businesses. Like, how do they navigate that? And what happens if you let people come back? And how do you social distance people when they do come back in the office? And do you require them to wear a mask? And so businesses are facing a lot of challenges that they're going to have to deal with. And that's where, kind of marketing and messaging and how do you get that out there in a creative way? And then how do you, again, internally market, right? Because you have to market to your employees as well. It's safe to come back. We've got a plan in place. You're okay to come back in, or, we've got, we've spaced out cubes or whatever the case may be. So I do believe that marketing and messaging, go hand in hand for both internal and external audiences.
And I just noticed I unmuted everybody, so if anyone has anything to say, maybe you couldn't do it just a second ago. You're welcome. You're welcome to say it now.
It still looks like on my end that people are muted, but it just might be on my screen.
Well, there's a function here that allows you to unmute in the sense that they can unmute themselves now.
Yes. Okay. Now I see it.
So I don't see any other questions here. And here we go. Thank you. I got to thank you. I enjoyed your presentation. You gave some great ideas for the MBA program, which is fantastic. And that's kind of the purpose of these too, is to kind of share knowledge and information, those types of things.
Great.
Okay, so without further ado, I guess we're just going to sort of end it and everybody can go enjoy their weekend if they're so inclined to do so.
Sounds great. Thank you all so much. Have a great weekend. Stay safe.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.